What's up, y'all?
Sheesh.
Back in business.
Back in business.
Oh,
Back
man.
at it with another Money in Motion Monday clip for you guys. Video. Little quick short film podcast. Today's topic is going to be managing wins and losses and kind of how we've been able to deal with those. So,
Yeah.
you want to start it?
Well, let's start with the veggies because losses are very important. You know,
Yep.
nobody wants to deal with them. You don't want to. You want to avoid them. It's gonna happen, but we're gonna let you know how we've managed to overcome them. How we notice them. Kind of little things, stuff like that. That's gonna hopefully help you in your process when you start doing your own business.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I think to start off, I'm going to say, patience is key in preventing losses or even, controllable factors that, you are rushing or trying to do and cause you to lose money or get scammed or something. Because it's common in this space where people take advantage of new business owners because they know that you don't really know what you're doing. You're trying to get your foot in the door, and they kind of lead you on with, telling you that they're able to do certain things at a faster pace and higher quality. And because you don't know and you're being impatient, you end up agreeing, and then you kind of make a quick decision, and it causes you to end up losing money.
They're good at selling you the dream, and when you're brand new to it, it's just easy to be like, oh, sounds good, let's do it. But something that you really want to pay attention to at least is communication. If whoever you're doing business with, if they have really bad communication, a lot of the times or most of the times, honestly, you don't want to work with them.
Mm-hmm.
It translates into their work ethic also.
Mm-hmm.
We've had to deal with a lot of not getting back to us or getting back to us, and we go to pick up our product and then they say, oh, sorry, we're not ready we don't have your stuff ready. So then it's just a complete L. A lot of the things that we dealt with was we used to get our stuff in downtown LA. We're based in San Fernando Valley, so anybody that knows downtown area, just being in downtown LA traffic is a mission.
Mm-hmm.
So we would spend literally an hour and a half going out there just to get shut down, and the guy saying we don't have your stuff. Then driving back home another hour and a half, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't really realize how much of a loss that is until you start thinking about the little things like your time, the gas. It starts to add up, and when it's more than once.
Yep.
No bueno.
Yeah, so pretty much I would say always just, don't get too excited on the first person that you meet that is doing that type of work, whether it's screen printing, embroidering, any type of fashion design if you're doing fashion stuff. But this kind of can translate into any type of business. Always do your due diligence and do research on that company or that warehouse, and see if people have reviews. Try to hear word to mouth and see if other people have had good or bad experiences and why, because you'll learn a lot from the reviews, and just based off what people's experiences have been, if that's going to be a good or bad person to do business with. A lot of the times, people that we've met that we do business with now, we've met through people that we know or have met, and tell us hey, I really have a really positive experience with this person. This is their quality of work, and they speak highly of that person, which is something that we look out for, and then we end up checking them out, and then if they meet our needs, then we do business with them. But you want to have a preset checklist as to what your certain expectations are. If something that you are expecting from a vendor. Because like you may need like certain things done at a certain time, but you also want to make sure there's a balance of like speed and quality versus just like all speed and bad quality, or good quality but they take a really really long time. That can also affect, you know, your drop process. And then I would say communication, and then how on point they are with their turnaround process. Like sometimes they can say, yeah, well, our turnaround process is 1 week or 2 weeks, and they are being communicative, but are they really staying true to that word, or are they constantly saying, well, I'm sorry, I have to extend it, hey, I'm sorry, but it's not ready, hey, and then like they're just kind of like playing with your time at that point. You know, like you guys have to understand that there needs to be like a mutual, you know, communication, and also they need to hold up a certain end of their part, where if they're saying 2 weeks and that's their turnaround time, then you should be expecting it. And again, things happen where some shops will say, be honest and say, hey, you know what, like I'm a day or two behind, and you know, do these things and let you know in advance. But there's a lot of places that don't do that, and then you're expecting your drop to be on a certain day, and you needed your garments done on the day they told you so you could do a photo shoot and things like that, and you're planning around it, and then if they don't deliver, it affects your whole process. So just kind of keep those things in mind. You know, don't settle for something less. And also, I think like you guys need to be able to provide feedback if needed. You know, I think any business owner, in my opinion, should be open to like hearing out their customer or their client as to like, hey, you're constantly telling me like certain things, and like, you know, I need to plan around that. So like, you're gonna tell me a certain day, I expect that to be done on that day, right? If you're not gonna be able to get it done that day, then at least let me know in advance so I can try to adjust. Or, you know, I think on their end they need to manage their time a little bit better. But that's just kind of what I would say about that situation.
Yeah, you want someone honest, like, and like Bruce is saying, like, if you give them feedback and you can genuinely, like, well, at least maybe it's easier for us now because we've been through it, but you can tell when they genuinely care that they've messed up. Just in like how they respond, you know, they say like we had issues before with that our first vendor, but like, yeah, we had this issue, and they'd be like, okay, we're gonna fix it. Come back a week later and it wasn't fixed, you know, and that shit sucks. With Mean Stitching now, we've maybe had like one issue, you know, and they fixed it right away. They apologized, you know, and it didn't happen again. Or they told us what things we can do to prevent certain things from happening. They gave us free game and like told us like, okay, well, this is gonna happen if you do this, so maybe you don't want to do that. Like it's a completely different just structure with their team and how they do business, you know.
I think another to like add on to that is super important is the fashion and like garment and just screen printing world is like so vast, and there's so many different things that you may not think affect the outcome of your product, and it's super important. And I think I'm not a screen printer and I don't own like screen printing business, but I think from the times that we've done drops, I can speak to this and say like, it's not always gonna be that screen printer or that vendor's fault when something doesn't come out the way you want it to.
Yeah.
And this is like super important, and like you guys need to understand this as someone that is starting your own clothing brand is they're like 9 out of 10 times are doing what exactly you're asking them to do, and then sometimes you get a garment and then you're not happy with it, and you're very quick to like throw the blame on the screen printer or that company and say, hey, you guys messed up, you guys did this, I didn't want it this way, X, Y, and Z. But in reality, they did exactly, you asked them what they did exactly what you wanted them to do, and then you weren't happy with the process because either one, you weren't like specific enough, two, you didn't do your research on the type of garment you were using, three, like you didn't give them specific measurements, or four, like you didn't communicate correctly as to, you know, the specifics around it. And if you're not doing that, right, like it's not their job to, go and like go above and beyond. They don't have to do those things to like figure out what exactly, do your part. They're going to go based off the information you give them, and that's that, right? So again, you got to work with your vendor as much as you want to be involved, and the more you're involved with the process, the better I think your product will come out. But you just, again, going back to patience, you got to be patient in the process and really do your homework behind everything, the type of garment, if it's garment dye, if it's not garment dyed, is it already pre-washed, if it's shrunk already.
That's super important.
You also want to see like their process too, maybe. Like, I don't know how open every vendor is to those things, but sometimes they are open to like, you observing, a sample being made, or like the first one being made, so you feel confident in like, okay, they're doing the proper steps.
That's actually one thing I would say I really love about mean stitching. Like going back to what we were saying, like communication. Josh will, shout out Josh. He will literally send us out like the print on the film before they even put it like on a garment, just to make sure it's like what we want. If we want it wider, stretched out more, whatever the case is, then send us more photos of it against like the color garment that we're gonna use.
Mm-hmm.
You want to meet people like that doing business, that are super transparent with what they're doing,
mm-hmm.
giving their opinion. Like a lot of times, businesses will just say yeah to whatever you want, just to make you put in right away and put all your chips in.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to look out for people that are going to be super transparent with their business.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, like that is going to be a reflection of their own business, right? And like you can tell when someone is just in the game to make money and they don't really care about their client, and they're just like, whatever, if you're not happy, it is what it is. Like, I don't care, I have more clients, and like I'm going to go to the next person that's starting, and I'm going to take their money, do their drop, and then rinse and repeat. And cool, like if you run your business that way, like it is what it is. But I would just advise, like, try to seek out someone that is genuinely passionate about what they do, are willing to help you out, are willing to give you advice, and like just really show you and guide you in the process, so that you can prevent losing money or sitting on like something that you thought was going to come out the way you envisioned it, but maybe not so much. And I think like it's just super important, to make sure that you're producing something high quality, right? Like you never want to rush something, and then next thing you know, no one wants to buy it, and then you're discouraged because you thought you had the best product in the world, and then no one wants to buy it because it came out trash. So just kind of keep those things in mind. I think like another thing to add too is gonna be like, in my opinion, the ability for someone to recognize, and recognize, I would say, where you're lacking in your design. So a lot of times when we design something, Josh, or just like in general when we're there, they'll see our design, or Josh mainly will see our design and say, hey, like, have you guys thought about this, or what about this? Like, this gradient is not going to look good, it's going to come out this way, like I can see your vision. And really involved in like how we move through the process. And not everyone is willing to do that, like at the end of the day, they're the ones printing on the garment, and they know exactly, or I think they should know, right, if they're doing screen printing, is know when things are not gonna like screen print correctly, or if you're trying to screen print over like a specific seam or a zipper or something, like, hey, like it's gonna completely mess up your design, and they're not gonna let you fail because they just want to accept the order. Like Josh has told us before at Mean Stitching, like, hey dude, by the way, like this is a really nice design, but if you guys want to do it over this part of the garment, it's not gonna look the way you guys want it to look. Like it's gonna distort the image. And we've taken a lot of like his feedback and his opinions, and like we appreciate that, because if we weren't, well, at least from our prior experiences, if we went to our old vendor, they would have just been like, yeah, that's fine, we can do that, and then we get the garment and we're not happy. And once it's printed on, you can't go back. Like, you can't just be like, oh, let me go hit the eraser and erase it off and let's just redo it. Like,
you're cooked.
That's garments you're gonna have to sit on and money you lost. So again, just do your homework. Make sure you do, you know, like look at reviews, ask to see if you can see any garments.
Check their social media too.
If they have social media, if they're active on there, if they have any websites, you know, based off your first experience, I think, you know, for those of you guys that have like good judgment of character, how that person treats you when you're trying to like put an order in, if they're trying to really rush you and just kind of get you to put in an order. And I would also say if they have garments or if they do any samples, not everywhere they do samples, but maybe you can do one sample, or like if maybe they let you do like a sample of 5 or something. Go the sample route and then do the stretch test. For those of you guys that don't know what the stretch test is when you do screen printing, you pull on the ink like this. Like say I had an ink print right here, I'll pull it. And if it cracks and breaks, that means that it's not cured correctly.
Yep.
So you want to kind of just make sure that that doesn't happen to your garment, especially fresh out and like never worn and anything, right? It's gonna eventually happen on garments. Like it's not gonna never crack after you wash it. Wear and tear like it does happen naturally, but right off the oven, if they're telling you it's good to go and you pull it and it cracks, that means it wasn't cured correctly. And like you want to make sure that you're looking out for those little things. You're looking out for any spelling errors. If it wasn't your fault, cool, you caught it and you let them know. You also want to like make sure that you're receiving the correct quantities. We've also been in a situation where we were down quantity, and it was a few. We were missing a few hoodies from our first vendor, and we had went back and we told him like, hey, dude, we're missing some, and he had told us that like he didn't have any of them, and it was hard for us to like say he did or didn't, because we also messed up there and we didn't count the packs, but we knew that the packs unopened came with a specific amount. And they were straight brand new packs, like never opened. Again, could have been them, could have been us, but
nah, that was them. That was them.
You want to make sure that you are counting your garments if you are buying like from somewhere else and taking it to the vendor to screen print on. Or if you're buying at one-stop shop, like where you're ordering from them, you know, like if you're saying 50, then obviously there's like a form of receipt that you received from someone, or you can take like ask for like a picture or like just receipts of you ordered 50. And then, so that way when you get it back, you want to count, you want to do your due diligence, review the garments while you're there, because then you go back home and you say, hey, I have a smudge on this one's ripped, like, you don't want to be that person where it's like, you're constantly going back because you didn't do your part and like review your garments or like check for any mistakes. So you know, it could get sticky, like situations where then the person doesn't want to do business with you because you were like trying to put a blame on them for something. You're just like, well, we don't know who to blame now, right? It's pointing finger situation.
When did we drop this shirt?
We dropped that shirt. It's been a while now.
Was it like
March? I think
March.
I want to say it was March.
I've watched this shirt probably like 100 times since then, and there's barely any. I don't know. I can see that right there, but there is barely any little crack right there, and that's me tugging on it. So, and that's that. This shirt is almost a year old, washed and worn, probably like. Not even joking, I'm gonna say at least 50 times washed.
Yeah.
So just great quality. That's the stretch test that Bruce was talking about.
Yeah. And keep in mind, like, you know, these shirts are not meant to last forever. So like, we're not trying to say, oh yeah, the shirts are gonna last forever. They're not, you know, no, that's not the case. 50 times is like average amount of like how long it should last before you start seeing any of like cracking and things like that. And sometimes even longer depending on, you know, inks and things like that. But that should be like the minimum, you know. And we work out in these shirts. We go hiking. We do like a bunch of things where we lay on the back and stuff like that. So
I fell on the mountain on this shirt and, you know, still intact.
Yeah, I would say durability test is passed. But
oh, actually, that's something you guys want to do too. We started doing durability tests with our garments, where we get it and wear it for at least 2 weeks straight of just washing, doing like the most shit in it, you know, just to make sure, just to assure that it's 100% up to par of what we expect and want.
Yeah, that's super important too, because especially I would say when you're experimenting with new garments, because you never know what you're gonna get from that garment.
Yeah.
They might promote it as like, hey, this is like super heavyweight, already washed, no fading, whatever they're you know, promoting it as. But when you get it, it shrinks when you wash it once or dry it, whatever.
Oh, yeah.
Then it fades the color, or you know, the ink doesn't really stay on that garment really well because of the type of material. There's a lot of things that can happen, and I can go on and on and on, but you know, I would say for you guys, like, and your customers, say, do a quality check on your own before releasing the garments.
Yeah.
I mean, after having done like a couple tests on a specific garment, you'll know like, okay, I've already dropped this one. I've already done a durability test. You don't have to do the process over and over and over. But for the first time when you're trying a new garment, you definitely want to like take it home, wash it, dry it, do like a hang dry version, a heated dryer version, to see if it shrinks and how much it fades, if there's any like discrepancies that you might find, so that way you can promote it correctly on your website or to people and just let them know like, hey, by the way, this is gonna happen. We recommend this type of wash and dry.
Yes.
If you continue using that garment. Or you might learn something from that garment and say, hey, you know what, this is not the garment I want to go for because it doesn't meet specific needs for this, you know, style of drop that I want to do. And then you go and continue your search for a different garment. But that can save you a lot of money, can save you a lot of bad reviews, it can save you like a lost customer. And like that's super, super important, you know, like it's gonna happen. You're gonna go through these trials and errors. You're never gonna get it perfect on the first try. Maybe you do, who knows, you get lucky. But as you start doing different garments, you know, you start learning, okay, this brand of garments, this happens, this brand of garments, this happens, these are known for this. Like, you're gonna just have to trial and error a few and then figure out which ones you really like. And then you'll sit on a specific style and brand, and then you'll write that, you know, brand. So, but definitely trial and error a few of them before you make your final decision. And also what we've done too, like what's helped us to mitigate like some losses is we've bought like blanks, and we've told like families and friends like, okay, can you try this one, can you try that one, and then we'll get feedback from them and they'll let us know like, oh, we really like this one because of this, and we like this one because of this, or we don't like it because of this, the collar's thinner on this one, can we figure out like a middle ground of those two? So then that tells us, okay, people like this and don't like this, and then we kind of figure out what's in the middle, and then we do like a final review on that one, and then once we feel confident, like, all right, this is our garment, then we'll release that. But you want to make sure that you wear it as well, right? So that you can speak your garment, you know your garment.
Yeah.
But
and a way to get it, like ask whoever you're gonna be printing with. Like a lot of times they won't do samples, like honestly. But if they're willing to, cool. If not, just ask them for the garment without any print, so that way at least you have an idea of what it's going to feel like on after you do all the washing and drying and all that stuff, putting it through that test, you know. And
you're gonna have to pay for it.
Yeah, you're gonna have to pay for that for sure. If they still don't even want to just give you the garment itself, just ask them the garment company, and you could go online, get just one shirt. You know, it's gonna be a little bit more expensive, but at least you know exactly what your garment is going to be like. So, it's simple. Honestly, there's ways to go around it. Like, you know, it's not impossible to get it.
Yeah.
Like Bruce said, we've worked with blanks, you know, just buying some on Amazon just to get like a feel of what it's going to be like before we do the full-on purchase.
Yeah. and that's kind of just the name of the game. You know, you gotta invest in the garments and just kind of do your homework, and just to get the quality you want, right? Like that's gonna affect your image of your brand. It's gonna affect how happy your customers are, and it's gonna be helpful for conversion of a returning customer. So
Yeah.
that's what helps makes any clothing brand successful is selling to one customer for the first time, and keeping them engaged in like, damn, this was really a comfortable shirt or garment. I really like that the print stayed on, it didn't shrink, and it meets their needs so that they can come back and buy your next drop. But if you really sell a shirt and then they go home and it was completely opposite to what you marketed as, then they're gonna be upset. They're not gonna want to buy from you again. So that's like really important. And if you do, for whatever reason, give out a faulty shirt or garment or whatever, and it was just like a rip, a tear that you didn't catch for whatever reason, always make it right. That's gonna go a long way. Where
Yes.
you are gonna potentially lose money in giving them a replacement, but it is gonna keep that customer happy, and it's gonna leave you in good space of like, yeah, we're happy that we were able to replace that garment.
We had to do a quick cut.
Live in the
Our
flesh.
timer.
Yeah.
We don't want to miss that 30-minute cut again. Oh shoot. But to wrap up the losses and managing losses, overcoming losses, we're gonna talk about our biggest loss of them all.
Which,
Damn.
honestly, a lot of people may have not really thought it would be our biggest loss, but it was.
Yeah. That
Well, it was a loss, but a win at the same time because of the cost. So
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess you're right. And the lessons learned from it, and yeah. So it was a loss, huge loss, but a win at the same time.
do you want to talk about it? What it was?
I don't even want to think about it.
Yeah.
It was our the breast cancer awareness hoodies that we did last year,
Mm-hmm.
which was kind of crazy to think about because that was only our second drop from. It was our original black and white shirt,
Yep.
and that one we did right after because we wanted to raise money for the breast cancer awareness center.
Mhm.
And we dumped a lot of money into that
Yeah.
one. We didn't do any marketing behind it.
Nope.
We didn't promote it, and there was no really campaign built behind it, which is something that is really important that we do now. Man, yeah, we want to talk about the funds.
No. No, yeah, but just kind of in short, we spent a lot of money. We did 100 hoodies, almost 100 hoodies. It was like
Christ.
90 hoodies, and on
98.
average, the cost per hoodie was about $26, if I'm not mistaken. That's to buy the garment and make the garment, like screen print on it. So you guys can do the math on that. I don't even want to do the math, but I know it was a lot. And we did, like you said, we didn't advertise, we didn't campaign, we didn't do any videos. We just thought like, oh, because it's breast cancer and it's such a big, thing that everyone knows, they're gonna buy it. And I think the week of, we were just like, all right, well, we're just gonna promote it as like buy one, and proceeds are gonna go to a breast cancer awareness facility, and we're gonna make a donation, so that's enough for people to buy.
Which we still donated, by the way.
Yeah, we still did donate it. So everyone that bought a garment, we did make a donation. I don't know if we ever made an official announcement. I just think I don't think we did, but it was more because we didn't do it for like, hey, we're donating X amount of money. We just wanted to do it and let you guys know, hey, like this is gonna go to this. We for sure did make a donation still. And we were thankful enough to still raise a good amount of money and to
Yes.
make a donation. However, we got a little excited and realized that when we were starting off, we still didn't really have a really big following. So we just thought big sizes were gonna sell. And we sold like smalls, we sold mediums, we sold larges, but we got stuck with XLs and 2XLs and a lot. Pretty much, we had 3 different colors. It was pink, desert taupe, which is like a brown, and then we had black. And on all 3, pretty much the XLs, well, a few on each color sold, but the 2XLs, we almost sold none.
Yeah.
And we got stuck with a really huge amount, and it was probably, we did six 2XLs on each one. On each size. So it was, yeah, it was a lot, and we're still sitting on those garments actually, the 2XL ones.
I think we sold like 1 pink one.
Yeah, we sold a little bit of them, but you know, we have a few XLs and 2XLs pending. You know, we still have a plan, right, to make another donation of the garments.
Yes.
Which another good thing for you guys to know is it depends on how you move with your business, but you can technically, correct me if I'm wrong, but from my understanding, like you can utilize this as a loss if you donate it, or you can just donate it and get like the cost of the garment and use it as like, this was the value that we donated.
Yes.
And on your taxes, you can use it as like a donation amount. Do your own research on that. I don't know if I'm 100% sure, but that's kind of what we're trying to figure out, is if we're going to donate the garments and give them for people in need, and then just use it as like a tax write-off for ourselves, if that's possible. If not, regardless, we already took the L on it, and like, you know, we have some plans for those garments to kind of be donated somewhere so people can actually wear them and use them, since we've already realized that we've moved on for that chapter. But yes, you definitely want to be careful with the really bigger sizes in order to help you with mitigating losses. I recommend, you know, like doing small, medium, large when you're first starting, and then if you start getting a demand for XLs and 2XLs, then get a few of those sizes. But definitely don't get over your head and start getting like a bunch of 2XLs, because you want to have a variety and you want to have a bunch of sizes. But like, it's good to have those, but it's better to not have it, in terms of like, because you don't have a demand for it, and I'll take an L for it when there's only like one person that's asking for a 2XL. You know what I mean? Like, personally, I'd rather, yeah, you want to play it safe, and you'd rather put those funds into like maybe an extra large or medium that's more likely to sell.
Yes.
Versus putting an order for some 2XLs.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of keep that in mind. That's where kind of, you know, us managing our losses has come from. Like, we study our trends and what sells and what doesn't in terms of sizes, and now we've kind of adjusted our inventory to like reflect our trends, which you kind of have to sell for a little while and keep documentation as to like what you're selling in order for you to gather that data. But if you're not selling, you're never going to be able to gather data in terms of what your business trends are. So
yeah,
kind of in short. But some of our wins, I think after that, we really took the information that we got from that and the L, and we realized, okay, you know, we can't lose the momentum we have right now. You know, we're selling a few, people are starting to, you know, tune in on our Instagram and our, you know, pop-ups that we're doing. So we couldn't afford to just kind of sit there like ducks and like, you know, sob in the loss that we took. So we doubled down and we put the rest of our funds, actually, like, we pretty much hit zero.
Yeah.
And we made these garments, actually, the dedicated department ones. So everything that we learned from the previous drop of not doing a campaign, not doing proper videos, not advertising and shooting content and doing photo shoots that we didn't do for the breast cancer awareness one, we ended up doing it for this one, and it was night and day. We saw a huge return on investing on garments and quality of videos and the editing and all those other little things that we didn't do the first time around. It was a lot more work for sure, but I think the outcome paid off. And all I can say is, like, when you're doing any type of garment, you want to make sure that you have some type of campaign in place for it and planned out so that you are not stressing out, you're not worrying about what's my next move or how am I going to sell this, or who's the audience for this. You want to have that already planned out as you're already making your design, so that way when it comes to marketing it, it's a little bit easier for you to kind of move around the logistics and also convert those things into sales so you don't get stuck on a garment. But I don't know if you want to add a little bit more to that, because you kind of are behind the scenes of editing and marketing kind of a little bit.
Yeah, so basically, once you get your design and what you're going to be pushing out there, from there, before you even, I would say, print it, you want to start thinking of how you're going to market it, what your visuals are going to look like. Like Bruce said, the audience, some things that they kind of relate to. So like with this one, we did it's a street style shirt. It's Old English written across the back, that's kind of like the style we were going for. So our photo shoot, we did it in a popular area out here in San Fernando Valley where it's just like alley type of way, we just pushed it with videos like for that whole month. We actually planned it out. Okay, Monday we're doing this, Wednesday, Friday. We did it for that whole month.
Yeah.
And we did photo shoots of us, and the way we posted it, we did carousel posts. So those of you that don't know, when you do a carousel photo post on Instagram,
what he means by carousel is it's multiple pictures on one post. Like you have two, like you swipe left or right, and you view another picture. That's what a carousel is, in case you guys don't know.
Yeah. So when you do that, you better your chances of getting some engagement. Because if someone just swipes past or scrolls down past your post, when they refresh it and they're scrolling through again, your second photo that you add, it's going to also show them. So maybe they don't like the aesthetic of the first one, but they like the aesthetic of the second one, or it's just a different style of it being like worn, and they could really like picture themselves of like, oh shoot, actually that looks pretty dope. Then that's how you get like engagement, people to your website to convert into sales. But
which is some free game. A lot of people don't tell you guys about that.
Yeah.
But free game on how to kind of have your posts or your garments kind of pop up on someone's feed multiple times, which can convert in views if you're doing like a reel with another post on it, or if it's like multiple pictures. Someone's more likely to comment, like, or whatever, or share.
Yeah.
So just kind of keep that in mind, guys.
And you want to keep the theme tied in all together, So like for those posts that we did, in our videos that we had text in it, we also had Old English text, for not exact to what we have on the garment, but very close. We did shock drops. We did everything that we should have done with the breast cancer one, we did with this garment right here. And I would say 80% of the garments that we sold in the first 3 days. And we had what, like 120?
I think it was a total of 120 pieces in mix of shorts and shirts.
Yeah.
We had two colors. It was white and pink. So it was like 30 shirts in white, 30 shirts in pink, 30 shorts in white, and 30 shorts in pink. But yeah, we did like a shock drop. We didn't announce it to drive kind of exclusivity, and people went to the website, were buying, and then we did a pop-up. We did a pop-up for in-person buying before official launch, and then we did an official launch on top of that. So there's different ways that we were driving scarcity for the product, which created a high demand for it. People wanted the product, and they ended up going either to the pop-up event, or they bought it right away on the shock drop, or if we still had in their size after that. As soon as we announced the limited quantities pending, they were there waiting on the website to buy it.
Yeah.
Once we officially launched it. So,
and this was all planned out before we even shot any videos, honestly. Bruce had brought up doing the shock drop, which I had never heard of. But I was like, you know what, fuck it, let's fucking try it out, So there's just do your due diligence and look up a bunch of different ways of how to like market it and push it out there, just little things that you can do to help your launch go crazy.
Yeah, so I think that was probably one of our biggest
For sure.
biggest
Yeah,
win.
biggest, yeah.
I would say our second one was
Skull
the
hoodie.
Skull Hoodie, the Dia de los Muertos themes that we did. There was a lot of planning behind that one. We had to get his mom and his sister. Shout out to them. They helped us with painting our faces. They even helped us with like getting cleaned up, like hairstyle and everything. And then we had, like a motorcycle there. We had other people involved in it. Um, and then we drove to Long Beach for the whole photo shoot. And it was all to like fit in the theme. And then we had like a bunch of angles, different behind the scenes, like getting our makeup done, getting our hair done, doing the photo shoot, behind the scenes, the photo shoot itself. So, the work in production does pay off because people get engaged from those things, and then it ends up converting in, whether it's a sale or not, right? Like, you can't always think dollar signs. You have to think about, okay, how can I get someone to visit my website or even just visit my page and follow, right? Like, because maybe they don't buy something the first time, but they follow you and then they buy something next time, or you continue popping up on their feed and they share your website or your page to someone else that they think might like your garment. So you want to figure out a way to like capture someone's attention, keep them on your page, have them follow you, or have them visit your website and buy something. And you do that by the content that you release.
Yeah.
So production goes a long way.
Yeah.
So
Try to keep the same aesthetic too. Like with that, it was all shot in like dark theme. So you want to keep that consistent, and you want to have enough footage at least. I would say like at least a month, because that's all we promoted for that whole month. Was just that skull hoodie.
Yep.
Something super important also that Bruce actually said we should do was not specifically tying it into the holiday.
Oh yeah.
That was super critical.
Yep.
Because when you do that, once that holiday is past, whatever the holiday it is, it could be Christmas. Say you're gonna do a Christmas drop, and it has like Christmas theme. It says Christmas or it says 2024. That is, once that date passes, the likelihood of you selling it is going to drop more than 50%. Just because of the holiday.
Yep.
Once the year passes, okay, what's the next year? 2025. You want it's the constant of wanting the new.
Yep.
So super important.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys try. I mean, you can do it, but you got to do all the work before, and you should probably think like you want to do a minimum amount of garments because you need to sell all of that by that date.
Yeah. Before you want to sell before that date. So
Before. Yeah.
That was another issue that we ran into going back to the losses with breast cancer, is that we did the year on it, which is 2024 last year, and that was one of the biggest reasons why we weren't able to retry to sell it this year, is because it had 2024 on it. So
yeah,
we lost the opportunity. It's once a year, and it was stamped with 2024. So it's hard for us to sell that garment now because of that reason. So same thing how we said the Christmas theme. You need to start selling prior to the date or the month, because people already want to be in the theme starting the month, right?
Yeah,
so think about big retailers. Like a lot of you guys, if you guys need like an idea, big retailers are already a whole month ahead and putting products out on their shelves for the next season, or 2 months ahead sometimes.
Yeah.
So like we both work in retail, so we are usually kind of like keeping up with the trends. Like, all right, dude, our retailer is already they're in, say, July, right? And they're thinking about, the end of summer already. What's happening in fall already? They're bringing fall stuff in. We have Halloween, and they're doing it a whole month before. In September, we have Halloween stuff already. Now we had Thanksgiving, and dude, starting, I would say 2-3 weeks ago, we already had Christmas stuff. So like first week of November, we had Christmas stuff already out. So
actually, the day after Halloween, we had to transition all of our stuff to we took down everything of Halloween and it went straight to Christmas.
Yeah. So think about they're 2 months ahead, so that people buy everything and are in spirit for the time that when it comes. So kind of some free game right there in terms of like how to stay on track. You always got to think ahead. You always want to plan accordingly. It's not easy, but you want to set like strict dates and just, manage those wins correctly so that you can reinvest and then always take what you learn from those and then either double down or change those little errors that you made so that the next time you don't make the same error. And even when it is a loss, like you gotta see it as
A lesson.
and then take the information from that and then take it out or apply it into not making that mistake again on the next one. So yeah, that's kind of us on managing our losses and wins.
Some of our biggest losses. Super transparent.
Yeah. I would say once you do make a big win, I think for us what helped us is like in this case with this garment that he's wearing is we did really well on it, but we didn't let it affect our momentum and like, hey, well, we did really good, but now we don't have to do any work because people are super hyped, like, oh, we made it. No, like we knew that this was just the beginning and we wanted to continue. You got to keep that momentum going, keep going. As soon as you slow down on something that you did really well on, all the hype goes down and then you got to rebuild that momentum, which is really hard. So my biggest piece of advice is once you start seeing the ball rolling, do not stop. Like
double down on it.
Double down, do the next one, double down, do the next one, double down, do the next one, and then keep that ball rolling because you want to ride that wave. And also don't rush it, but you want to make sure that you're doing things correctly, because you could get a little excited. We've been in the situations where we saw a win and then we got really excited. We did another drop. We didn't really plan correctly because we thought the momentum from the previous drop was going to help with this drop, and it doesn't work that way. You got to do the whole process all over again.
Yes.
Because it's a completely different garment.
Yeah. So essentially, don't take shortcuts. Do the work, and you should be good. Honestly.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple. Do your homework.
Yeah.
Any loss that you take, reflect on it. See what you could have done differently. What you should do going forward, and adapt to it, and you'll be fine.
Yeah. But those are our wins and losses. Thank you guys for staying tuned. If you have any losses of your own that you want to share in the comments, let us know. Or if you have any tips for things of someone that's watching this, or even us, of things that have worked for you, comment those as well, or DM us. We're excited to kind of hear what you guys have gone through, or if you want to share. But yeah, that was it.
Cool. Money in Motion.
Money in Motion Monday.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.
Yo, 21 minutes.
Yeah, it's about 10 minutes.
Fuck, hopefully I recorded everything. Damn.
It died.
Nah, I'm just fucking with you.